new era for American cricket began in 2021.
There he goes into a dive! What a catch!
The rise of cricket was celebrated across the country. Now, with big wickets and even bigger hits, the stars of minor league cricket are back and better than ever.
Primus scores huge!
Don't miss the nation's largest league competing for the biggest prize in American cricket. The Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship returns June 25th.
You're watching the Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, presented by Sunoco.
Welcome, cricket fans of America, to the 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championships presented by Sunoco. We're here in Santa Clara, California. Joe Hickey, joined by Suhas Vedam for a game that is going to have a little something to say about who advances with that second position here out of the Western Division and books a date with the Dallas Mustangs. Suhas, so glad to have you again with us this weekend.
Thank you very much, Joe. Oh, what a bright sunny day, beckoning for some lovely cricket. And let me quickly recap that it's going to be an affair of the yellows today. The Hollywood Master Blasters versus East Bay Blazers, and Hollywood Master Blasters, not too long ago, decided to bat first after going the right side to the coin.
Indeed, this season 2-5 when they elect to bat first. Both of their wins have come that way. They average a little over a run a ball when batting in the first innings at 125. It is the sixth time out of 9 tosses won that they've decided to bat first, and that would seem to be backed up by the record. East Bay Blazers, for their part, 7-2 on the season when chasing. Their 2 losses coming in very tight fashion to the Silicon Valley Strikers in a match that went down to the final ball, and by DLS against Dallas Mustangs way back over the July 4th weekend. We're going to have Abdulahad Malik and Mrunal Patel facing the first few balls, and it is Patel on strike to get us started. First ball handed to Sanjay Krishnamurthy, and the first delivery swung on and missed by Patel, and we're underway here at Santa Clara.
We looked at the surface just before the game began and looked like a mirror almost, as flat as it can get. It'll be very interesting to see how it behaves when the spinners are in operation, and we didn't have to wait much to see the spinners.
Sanjay Krishnamurthy taking the ball first today. A little bit of a difference. Mark Dayal out of the team today, as well as Gurbaksh Singh Khaira and Shashank Vitala-Deravaram. They are replaced by the newcomer, Kiran Powell, Rusty Tharon, and Promjot Panasar. First runs of the day as Mrunal Patel works that to the onside. And after a pair of dot balls, Hollywood Master Blasters underway. They come into today 2-10. They split their series this season with San Diego. They picked up a win over the Chicago Blasters, who finished their year 0-13. Their only points coming from the 3-0 results. They finished up last night against the Tigers, being defeated. Abdulahad Malik now on strike, and his first delivery is scorched, but right at the fielder, Angie Pereira.
Abdul Malik gets a game today, would want to make the most of it. And how can he do so? By getting off to a flying start, something that he's known for in the circles. Much like that, that was in the gap too. Must not have enough fuel. Eventually does. That's one way to announce your arrival. to 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship presented by Sunoco. What a way to come back into the team.
Abdullah Malik, the highest impact batter in the side, according to Tom Nielsen's impact ratings. 41st in minor league cricket, adding about 5 runs over the average batter per innings that he's participated in. But he's been in and out of the side over the course of the year. Debuted against SoCal with a 48 not out on July 4th and has only been dismissed for less than 23 once.
This tells you that every time he gets runs, he gets a lovely start, and it's about taking the punch to make sure that he gets going.
Single to end the over, 6 from it, 6 for no loss.
1, 2, 3.
Good. Off, right? Body. 2 runs as the batter does get lucky, but not so lucky that it runs away for 4. On an outfield of this kind, it's more like a spongy bounce. You'll go and stand in the grass, especially in the covers region. You realize that half your foot is covered by grass. You leave an imprint almost. And then, of course, for the left-hander, long on position, there's no grass at all.
Yeah, some interesting topography, some interesting geography here at the ground here in Santa Clara. First time this season that it's been used. Only the 3rd minor league cricket game in the city of Santa Clara so far. Bay Area teams 1-0 here. Both the Strikers and Blazers defeated San Diego Surf Riders last season on August 29th. Blazers got that win by 50 after putting 176 for 5 up in the first innings. Today they will be chasing. That one worked nicely off the hip and run down to 3rd man. That'll be a single. 3 runs so far for Abdullah Malik to start the over. Oh, correction, that made it all the way to the fence. It looked like they had the protection settled in there and a misfield out in the deep. So never mind, a 4.
Kamal Drew has got some thinking to do. He usually starts off really well. I think the umpire is also suggesting that this side screen might have to be moved a little bit.
Okay.
We're all sorted. Kamal Drew steaming in from the commentary box and with a slip in place. The ball didn't bounce at all. Now this wicket is showing a lot of demons indeed. If that ball didn't bounce from a place where it usually is lovely length to drive, the batter is going to be in trouble.
That's going to have them in 2 minds throughout the day. Thinking early on about that reminds me of the way Josh Dascom talked about trying to have a ball hit a crack early and then just skid on, and just have it in the mind of the batter for the entire rest of the day. Here comes LaRue, already 7 from the over. That's a better delivery there, though. Right on the mark. Worked away to the offside, no run there.
Wonderfully defended there. It's one of the best things to do, especially when you've seen a ball skid on like that, when the pacer is in operation. Angelo Pereira has a word with a tall, lanky Kamal LaRue. Kama has been excellent ever since he's got an opportunity with the East Bay Blazers. They were missing him dearly in the initial games. Not because of the results, but because of the areas in which they were going for runs.
And LaRue particularly useful in the power play since he came into the side. An economy of 6.63, having bowled half of his 16 overs there. That's the last delivery of that over. We've got 13 for no loss through 2.
My son, he's so soft-spoken. Oh, yeah! Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom.
Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
Looks like more spin coming from the Homestead end. Appears to be Arshdeep Brar, who we were looking for throughout the match last week. Suhas, a little surprised to see him in the side, well down in the batting, and not used at all in the bowling. Today he gets one inside the power play.
We were literally crying on commentary, weren't we? Where's Arshdeep Brar? The ball's turning so much on that track.
Malik able to work that one back behind. They'll run a quick single.
It's very, very rare to see a bye from Saideep Ganesh, who's been one of the best keepers that we've seen in the 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship.
That one is bringing an appeal out. They will take what appears to be a leg bye, as Patel certainly offered the shot.
I'll tell you what, it's a leg bye, perhaps because of Patel offering the shot, not because it went off Arshdeep's leg. Just get a feeling that Arshdeep Brar has been introduced as soon as he realized there's something for the spinners on this surface. And that's what Angelo Pereira does so very often. Unleashes the spinners, he doesn't use them.
As we mentioned, needing a replacement for the one that usually works 2 or 3 overs here in the power play, with Dayal not in the team today. Brar gets his opportunity so far, bowling very nicely.
Oh, this one just kidded on. I think we're in for a treat here. It's not going to be a batting paradise. It's going to be a treat to watch, with a lovely balance between the bat and ball in this battle. It's going to be quite a battle, which is going to test the watertight technique of the batters as well.
Malik on his way up with the feet, dancing forward on the pitch, not quite able to get to the pitch of the ball. That one gets a piece of him, going well down leg though. 3 dots running for Brar. Two wides. A single so far off of this. Again now, using his feet to try to give himself room, and still unable to get much of anything on it.
This is from the middle of the bat, of course, and this will travel the distance. We didn't have to wait much to see the first 6. Might be a tricky track, but if it's in the slot, it doesn't deserve to stay in the park. What a way to end the over. 3 overs gone, 23 for no loss.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Carmine LaRue will continue on from the commentary end. Left arm over the wicket, and that one hurried up on Mrunal Patel. He's able to work it away down to third man. They do have protection there, just a single to start things off here in the 4th.
The express pace of Carmine LaRue from one end, and Arshdeep Brar with that additional height will also ask some questions to the batter as a spinner. I think one thing that Angelo Pereira does very quickly whenever he is put to field first is the fact that he wants to know from which end is the spinner feeling more conducive to bowl.
Another one hurrying up. Misfield there by Vikash Mohan. That's going to allow the single to be run. Little hesitation to begin with on that. Correction, Pramjot Panasar over at that position there at in the covers. Pair of singles so far as LaRue will stop the run up. Runal Patel, 2 runs at this point. He's had a bit of a rough go of it this season in this opening position. Just hasn't really found his way. A 72 strike rate and a 7.7 average inside the power play. That one knocked straight back by the hand of Carmine LaRue. Headed toward the sight screen. Looks like it's got just enough Sunoco in the tank. And will make its way there for 4. And Runal Patel looking to put the lie to that slow start.
This was more of a punch, not a full-fledged drive. But it did seem to do the trick. Outstretched arms of that right arm, left arm of Carmine LaRue, only to realize he's grasped air and not the ball. It's not the best outfield, but it still had enough to go for 4. Tells you that was crunched off the bat.
There's a little bit of that variable bounce as that comes up at clavicle height. Chance down at the non-striker's end. LaRue slows it down. Maybe should have let that go through. Looks like White had the backup, as did Pereira. Maybe a half chance there for a run out, but at the end of the day, a bye taken.
That was typical Carmine LaRue, trying to make the batter sniff some leather. Deliberately bowling short, but sometimes you got to have the keeper in on it too. Because Carmine LaRue is a tall man. That extra bounce will create problems for the keeper. Very stylish as he plays it off in the gap. Pramjot Panisar is after it. We'll wait for the ball to stop. And around the same time, reaches there too. 2 more runs taken. It's one of the most stylish shots we've seen. Not just 1 weekend, but 2-3 weekends put together.
Oh, beautifully worked off the hip there. LaRue continuing to hurry up the batsman. That ball is coming off the surface with some serious pace.
Could that be the Daphneos shot of the day? Yes, it might not be a boundary, but just for the style quotient, I think he's making it up. He's making up for that one with a beautiful shot, and he's targeted the only advertisement hoarding that was there to be seen.
After the stylish one before, a little bit of extra power on that one finds its way all the way to the boundary. Runal Patel with the Master Blasters with 2 of those in the over. 13 from it, 36 for no loss.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट में क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, तेरे घर लाने का।
Continue. Was looking good in the previous over. He was asking some questions which the batter seemed to have found out of syllabus. Especially with the ball keeping low from that end, it's a good ploy to have a tall bowler because the release point is also slightly higher compared to the regular bowlers that the batters would have faced. The field is such that there is a man for a late cut, but he'll masquerade as a 3rd man inside the circle. He's gone for that wrong shot again. It's just that he's plonking his front foot outside the line, which is saving him at the moment.
Brar continuing to find purchase off that surface and varying ones that have turned and ones that have just simply skidded on. It's got Runal Patel particularly at 6s and 7s.
How close was this? What did it hit first is another question there. The umpire, Sunil, has suggested height on that one. Saideep Ganesh just cannot believe it. This game's being played with a little bit of camaraderie and in a lighter mood as well at times. You could see a lot of jokes. Hear the giggles. This one kept low. This has been an over of appeals. In between appealing, he's bowled a ball. That's it. Let's just put it this way.
So far, Arshdeep Brar has given up a single, a 6, and otherwise 9 dot balls.
ball slightly wider here. Reason being, he might expect the batter just to be manacled a little. Now that will be a single which Arshdeep Brar would not have liked because he was enjoying bowling to the left-hander.
Yeah, I would imagine Mrunal Patel at this point ecstatic to be at the non-striker's end. He was having a time there against the tall spinner.
Malik is a southpaw too. But Malik is a different kind of a southpaw. He doesn't mind coming down the track. He doesn't mind getting the width to go inside out. Mrunal Patel, the conservative of the two. Oh, that's gone through. But still would be only a single because he's sort of ensured that he's taken the fuel out of the ball.
Now, at some point, you just need to get yourself in front of it, and it's the way you teach it in baseball as well on the infield. Just get something on it, keep it from reaching the gap.
Second time it's happened to Pramjot as well. Buttery fingers today.
Ball blocked by Mrunal Patel to finish it. A beautiful 2-run over from Arshdeep Brar, 38 for no loss.
1, 2, 3.
Rusty Theron back in the side. And would Rusty Theron be back with the bang as well?
This will be his first time bowling for the East Bay Blazers since way back when we were up at Arroyo Park. That game against the Golden State Grizzlies. He had 1 wicket but went for 38 in his 4 overs of work. 7 dot balls, but a couple of extras, and went for 5 boundaries, 2 of them over on the fly. First delivery to Malik is banged straight into the stumps, and that is going to take care of it. The magic touch, Rusty Theron, as you suggested, back with a bang.
Gets it right on the money. No warm-up deliveries whatsoever. Something that he's been practicing to bowl in at a length where the batter finds it slightly difficult whether to rock on the front foot, completely commit, or rock on the back foot and try and negotiate it. Did neither. What a good delivery that was first up.
Well, and for Theron, his 4th wicket of the season, just his 2nd inside the power play overs, where he's bowled about half of his overs so far this year. And he's somebody who's been struggling a little bit this year in terms of his statistics. His stats in minor league cricket and in international duty have largely mirrored each other. Economies in the 8.5 to 9 range, strike rates of 1 every 4 overs, averages around the mid-30s. But definitely a promising start here. He'll be necessary as East Bay, as we've mentioned, is going to be without the services of Mark Dayal starting next week. Actually starting today, since he's not on the side today. But he'll be out at the CPL and unable to participate in the playoffs.
Absolutely. And because of the rules, it was important that he was made to sit out. Had he played this game, that means Powell wouldn't have got a game. And Mark Dayal missing, come the bigger games, would have meant big trouble for the East Bay Blazers. Now at least Powell gets some game time and also gets an opportunity to gel with the teammates to see how Angelo Pereira takes the decisions on the go.
Absolutely important to get that feel for his teammates, feel for his new captain, Rusty Theron. So far, excellent start. 2nd delivery to the new man, Cody Chetty, captain of the Hollywood Master Blasters, worked away to the offside and behind. A dot ball to start him.
Rusty Theron, the stalwart from South Africa, now calls USA his home and has done a tremendous job indeed in coaching young minds too.
It'll be incredibly important, the early wicket of Abdulahad Malik, who had been part of the only 50 opening partnership that Hollywood had worked this season. This time around, the opening partnership stopped at 38, and so far on 38 we stay. A second dot ball as Chetty caught in two minds. Corridor of uncertainty there from Rusty Theron. Well done.
No slip in place still, and the batter is very tentative. Doesn't get it from the best part of the bat, straight to the fielder. Sanjay Krishnamurthy ensures that it is a dot ball. Would not be from the best part of the bat, but still will make him feel much better because he made some contact here, Cody.
Well, the pressure beginning to mount a little bit, yeah, especially an edge in that moment might have really put the demons in your mind. Hollywood Master Blasters were 36 for no loss through 4 overs. They have scored 2 and lost a wicket in the last 10 deliveries. Theron steaming in with the penultimate delivery of the power play.
This one didn't bounce as much and still was negotiated nicely as he rolled his wrists, opened the face of the bat. Cody Chetty would have realized this is not going to be a straightforward batting track. It's showing to be something else. This is wolf in sheepskin. Looks like a mirror. When we walk down there, Joe, it looks like a mirror, as flat as possible, not a blade of grass. And yet look at the way it's behaving. The clay seems to be one that could have sort of alerted the potters around. Would want to collect some because this is soft.
Final delivery with the fielding restrictions in place, and he'll look to take advantage of that. Runs it down to the deep man at third man. Cody Chetty off the mark. It's the only run of the over and steals a wicket maiden from Rusty Theron, but a wicket 1 will do the trick. 39 for 1 at the end of the power play.
Against the right-handers.
And so far, a very similar look to what we've observed at Morgan Hill, where one end is locked down by spin, the other by pace. LaRue and Theron working from one end, Brar and Sanjay from the other.
This is how the commentators pick the commentary box positions as well. I'm just wondering, because whenever it spins from the other end, you choose to sit here.
Yeah, we thought we were going to be under the trees over at the homestead end of the ground. Instead, over here by the sight screen and awaiting our artificial shadow sooner or later.
I'll tell you what, now Arshdeep Brar would feel much better bowling to the left hand. The reason being he's got more protection at the end of these 6 overs. The power play has ended, the first power play. Second one has begun. This is beautiful. He is just sticking to the basics here. Bowl the straighter ones. The one that turns becomes the one that creates trouble. It's not looking to turn every ball.
And that one coming in almost a bail trimmer as at the swing and a miss from Patel. He's the surviving opener and flicks that to square leg. There'll be a second run on the over.
Cody Chetty was the more adventurous of the two. Last time Cody Chetty came into bat, it was with the Rohit Ramkumar, and while Ramkumar hung around, he took a little bit more time. Very unlike Ramkumar, Rohit. And Cody Chetty went for some beautiful shots of this kind too. Again, that bat bounce.
Or Sanjay Krishnamurthy over there is having some nightmares. I don't know if it's hitting particularly robust blades of grass or what over there, but it's come up and bitten him a couple of times. He'll go back where he gets a little more time to read a bounce now, as that position is pushed back to the fence with the lefty on strike.
Sanjay Krishnamurthy, the batter in him would be saying, I really wish it bounces as much when I bat on that surface. The bowler in him would be saying, that's all right if it's keeping low at times.
Yeah, taking note. Here's where I need to hit it. Final ball of the over to Mrinal Patel. Pushed right back to Brar. No problem getting the big frame down to snag it. So 3 from the first over with the fielding restrictions released. 42 for 1.
My son. He's so soft-spoken. Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom. Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
Bud?
7 overs gone, 42 for 1. The East Bay Blazers have pulled that run rate back down to a run a ball for the Hollywood Master Blasters. Of course, they're very interested in run rate today. That's one of the secondary goals. Goal number 1 is if East Bay manage to win this affair, they will ensure themselves of an 11-3 record. They will ensure that the worst case scenario is a tie with the Seattle Thunderbolts, and they will be looking to basically be the rabbit that sets the Thunderbolts something to chase on net run rate. Rusty Theron, first delivery worked away through the infield, does have protection out at extra cover, just a single.
As this game's progressing, you're realizing that this wicket has already started to crumble. It's 7 overs old. That means it is not going to be easy to bat second unless David White proves us wrong, as he so often has.
Well, the good news for East Bay is it's already a pretty big uphill climb for Seattle to equal them anyhow. Seattle, you're looking at what they would have to win by. They're looking for a pair of wins either by about 50 or 60 runs each, or with something like 6 or 7 overs left in a chase, depending on whether they're batting or bowling first, as the second delivery from Theron drifts a little wide on the line and manages to sneak that by Mrunal Patel.
So if Thunderbolts decide to chase a target down in 14 overs, that's when they have the best chance, you believe? And that is also given the fact that East Bay Blazers have a decent game and not an extraordinary one. Last time these two teams met, just last time these two teams met, that game would not be forgotten for a long time, because Sanjay Krishnamurthy, who's right now battling bad bounce anywhere he's posted on the field, was enjoying batting. He blasted his way through the innings.
Indeed, an innings where East Bay was sitting around 130 going into the death overs and ended up at 215 by the end, courtesy of 69 off the last 4 overs from Sanjay Krishnamurthy, a single here from Mrunal Patel. But that right now is the game that is the reason that Seattle have such a massive uphill climb. Seattle had put together a pretty decent match before that. They chased down a very small San Diego total in just 12 overs. Seemed like they had gotten the upper hand on East Bay, and then they turned around and blasted the Master Blasters by over 100. And next thing you know, it's way up in the stratosphere now.
It's one of the best things, and if not the best thing, about 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship presented by Sunoco. One day, you say that Seattle Thunderbolts chased down a total in 12 overs against the San Diego Surf Riders. Look at what happened the next time both sides met. Next time those two met, it was a nail-biter. Till the last ball, we don't know who was going to pick up those 2 points. For one, it wouldn't have mattered. For the other, it would have mattered the world.
Yeah, a little clean fielding down at third man, and we might have had a super over in that match. It was something else. That Seattle Thunderbolts team had to chase roughly 11 or 12 per over for the last half of their innings, and it went all the way down to that 11 from the final over. They just methodically took care of it and got that 2 off the last ball to take care of it.
Just telling you that even when two sides who've squared off before square off again, the results might be contrasting.
And certainly Seattle will be hoping for that from this game. They need this one to be a little close. To give you a sense of what the Blazers have in front of them, if they want to maintain their current net run rate, keep that target right where it currently is for Seattle, they would need to chase down the Master Blasters target with something like 3 or 4 overs left. The exact number, we're going to have to wait to find out. It's going to depend on what the Master Blasters put up here because, well, this is a difference of 2 fractions, and they don't have the same denominator. It's a mess.
Joe, stay a little quieter. I think David White's listening to you. He's very tactically filling it mid-off, and you're loud enough. Oh, that's a good single. Not a clean pickup. Had that been a clean pickup, would have been some drama. No ball signaled by the umpire because the stumps are uprooted at the non-strikers end, something that Theron would have loved to see at the strikers. That's what happens. Stump getting knocked out while he was in action, and that would mean it would be deemed a no ball, and it's going to be a free hit. What Angelo Pereira could be happy about is the fact that it is a single taken, so he's allowed to change the field when Ronald takes strike.
Indeed, it looked like just 3 from the over. Instead, now 4 with 1 more ball to face. It'll be Mrunal Patel on strike, and a relief here too. As you've mentioned many times on this, Suhas, most of the methods of dismissal taken out of effect at this point. Thrown round the wicket.
Oh. He thought he got it from the best part of the bat, from the middle of the bat. Ron didn't let it go past him. Not very often do you see a ball being contact in when it's the free hit and still the ball doesn't leave the 30-yard circle. 8 overs gone, 46 for 1.
Eight overs gone, 46 for 1. Chetty and Mrunal Patel trying to get themselves settled in after the early departure of Abdulahad Malik. It'll be Sanjay Krishnamurthy again from the Homestead end of the ground. Spin continuing. We've seen 2 of Brar. This will be the second of Sanjay.
Sanjay Krishnamurthy doesn't want the batter to drive the ball. Not if that's the line. He doesn't want to bowl that line too often. Single taken. At the moment, Cody Chetty and Mrunal, both of them are concentrating on building a partnership and not allowing hiccups. The shot selection suggests that they're not going for the attacking shots. Perhaps might change if both of them decide to target one particular bowler, because that is one way to bring momentum back to your side. At the moment, East Bay Blazers are quite comfortable giving away the singles. Slightly early into that shot, Joe.
Yeah, gets that off the toe end of the bat. A little different from what you're accustomed to in baseball most of the time. If you're a little late on it, or excuse me, a little early on it, you tend to pull it and roll over. In cricket, sometimes you get too many geometrical faces. Thing just winds up skewing off to the man at long off. 2 singles so far. Cody Chetty back on strike. Krishnamurthy around the wicket, and Chetty not a terribly dissimilar shot from the last one. Maybe again a little early on it, and again skewed toward long off. Another single.
Cody Chetty is deliberately hitting it down the ground. He's reminding himself that he's going to play a longer innings today. He's decided to not shift gears, but play the kind of innings that he usually does in the longer formats of the game. Of late, his role has been different, not as a captain, but as a batter coming in with a different mindset to go for the big shots from the word go. Now that would be a single only. The throw was on its way. First sign of attack in the over. First sign of attack in 4 overs, in fact.
A good rip there from Patel, and he's somebody who tends to attack more deliveries against spin. Back when I was tracking this at the beginning of the season, 62% of spin deliveries he offered a aggressive shot at, only 34% of pace. He might be in a different mindset here. Cody Chetty will work that one from the leg line and plunk it over David White. That'll be 4.
That'll also allow the ball to grow a little older, because that was hit at a part which had no grass whatsoever.
And then off of a chain link fence.
That leather has been mistreated now. That piece of leather. You could see how important it is to retrieve the ball in a manner that is directly dispatched into the hands of the fielder and doesn't get to taste grass or gravel. You want to keep it as new as possible.
Either that or start shining up one side of it and look for the reverse swing.
Not in T20s. Just not possible. Unless all shots are hit through that region again. You never know. But who's going to bowl reverse swing? That's another question here. Not for the East Bay Blazers. Carmel Leroux's got other skills.
Well, we'll have about 45 seconds to think about it. End of the over, 55 for 1.
1, 2, 3.
And it'll be the captain bowling from the commentary end. Angie Pereira takes the ball. He's certainly learned from experience here that the places to bowl himself are the middle overs and at the death. We saw early in the season, power play overs tended to be a bit of an issue. Tom Nielsen's impact ratings still really have some nasty things to say about him there, but he's moved on and is now providing some value here. Saves you about a run and over in the middle overs over an average bowler, and has been pretty fantastic at the death, save for one ugly-looking over that we saw together a couple of weekends ago. Single off the first.
Saideep Ganesh is not looking himself as well today. Behind the wicket, usually very energetic, very athletic. In fact, we were talking about him being one of the best keepers when it comes to celerity and also getting into good positions to create half opportunities, but today he's been a little off color. Angelo Pereira now to the left-hander. Absolutely enjoys bowling to the left-hander.
Yeah, likes to bring it from around the wicket, look for that bit of purchase off the surface, try and straighten it up towards the wicket. And Mrinal Patel, someone who certainly is vulnerable to it. Average of 15.7 against spin this season. Gets a lot of this one, but it's going to hang in the air. A diving catch from Rusty Theron at long off, and that is going to be the end of the day for Mrinal.
Half-hearted from Mrinal Patel. Seemed like didn't have the full flourish as he went through with that shot. Hung in the air just enough for a good catch from Rusty Theron.
Yeah, seeing a little bit of body language there, Theron regaling his team with the story of that catch, and just, come on, get here. And at very long last, able to squeeze it. Second wicket down here. We'll see who strolls to partner the captain, Cody Chetty, in a moment. 56 for 2.
Just when we were talking about Angelo Pereira loving the fact that he's going to bowl to a left-hander. Usually, with a left-arm orthodox, you believe he's going to be fancying his chances against the righty when he's going to turn it away from the right-hander. But Angelo Pereira is slightly different because he doesn't look to turn the ball much. He looks to get the batter out with the illusion of spin.
Not so different from what we were discussing with Arshdeep Brar earlier, and used to great effect so far today as well.
That's something that Angelo Pereira has. He has this different sense when it comes to choosing spinners. One day it'll be Sanjay Krishnamurthy all the way. One day it'll be Arshdeep Brar. Some days Arshdeep Brar would be left warming up throughout the game and never get to bowl. Karan Viradia now get to face his first. Remember, after October, Karan Viradia would have faced this first ball. The rules will change now because the batters had crossed. Cody Chetty faced that delivery. Now to the new batter, Angelo Pereira would want to stuff that offside up. No, he still is leaving good real estate on the offside for Karan Viradia to explore.
It's kind of impressive, actually, the two of them managed to cross. That ball wasn't in the air for that long.
Yes, it wasn't up in the air for that long. I think you found a friend in Rusty Theron, who with the diving catch also has a story to tell you. That's a good single. That's a very good single. And once again, Saideep Ganesh, if once a taskmaster perhaps would say that could have been stopped, should he have reacted a little early? To be very honest, looking a little off color. But soon it's about one dive or one good catch that sort of changes things up for a keeper. Beautifully driven. And despite the dive, the ball will evade and go for 4. No questions of it dying down in pace because that was hit beautifully. Wrists. Used a lot of wrists on it, and that is a secret ingredient.
Just the second boundary of the overs, the leading 4-hitter for the Hollywood Master Blasters, Cody Chetty, ranks 35th in minor league cricket. 23 of them coming in, make it a nice, even-looking 25 now after the 2 so far today.
It's a very difficult shot to hit, especially if you're not a very wristy player. If you're a touch player only, then you can play that shot because he's found the gap there beautifully. Now we'll take a single. Again, reacting so late. As far as Cody Chetty is concerned, had some extra bounce to negotiate and does really well on that occasion. A single to end the over, which means Cody Chetty will keep strike 2. Tenor was gone at the halfway mark, 63 for 2. We can be waving.
Sanjay Krishnamurthy continuing from the homestead end. Out of town update, by the way. Golden State Grizzlies batting first against Seattle, and it's 70 for 4, just 7.4 overs into that one as Cody Chetty picks up a single on the first ball against Sanjay.
70 for 4 and 7.4. They're playing with nothing to lose there, Grizzlies. But see that they are losing wickets, but they're amassing the runs as well because they want to stop Seattle Thunderbolts from chasing it down in 14 overs.
NorCal Pride.
Sanjay Krishnamurthy was looking a little iffy in the previous over, especially after being hit away for 4. Again, he's chosen the same line. Anything on the leg side, an easy offering for the batter, especially of Karan Viratia's stature, who's anyways looking for a single to get his innings going. And we've all seen what Karan Viratia can do once he gets going. Now, Cody Chetty, he is keeping the rhythm going with a boundary in each over. First against Krishnamurthy, and then a fantastic shot against Angelo Pereira. Now, will he keep the tradition on here with another boundary in this over? Not if that's the line and length. That is a beautifully bowled. Cody Chetty wants to pick and choose the right delivery, Joe.
Excellent comeback there from Sanjay Krishnamurthy. And getting to your point about Viratia, his average is a little middling, but he's had a couple of big performances. 34 last week against Golden State and 41 against San Diego. That one in the air, but it's going to split the two fielders. Doesn't quite have enough Sunoco to make it to the boundary.
Cody Chetty, any other ground would believe that could have gone for 4 because he offered a lot of wrist on it. Reminds me a lot of Virat Kohli. Of course, when he's in form.
Been a little bit of a rough go for him. I've been feeling the same way about my favorite team's captain, Kane Williamson, having a rough go of it in T20, coming back from an injury. Doesn't quite look himself, but we'll get there.
Wants that single. Cody Chetty wants that single. But it wasn't a clean pickup, and on top of it, he's hurt himself too. Cody Chetty was almost sold a dummy. There'll be 2 discussions on this very cricket field. Viratia will discuss why it wasn't a single in his view, and the other team, East Bay Blazers, would discuss what's really happened to one of their wonderful players.
Indeed, it's Vikash Mohan, I believe, down on the field after that that tough one. Perhaps, looking at the way he rose to his feet, perhaps it got a piece of his knee. It certainly has the look of something causing him to favor one side, but seems like he's staying in the match. I know I talked a little bit with Siraj Viswanathan at the beginning, or in the pregame, about excuse me, about just the need for these two teams, the Blazers and the Strikers, to just try to stay healthy at this point. Blazers very nearly into the postseason, getting all kinds of help from up the coast from Golden State, and of course Silicon Valley already having punched the ticket. They don't want to see anybody important taken away from them at this point. And Mohan has been a fantastic fielder this season for the Blazers. So somebody you hope is all right. There's another ball cut away. That's going to be a long run for Vikash Mohan. He can't get there as Kulpreet Singh in as the substitute defender, unable to stop it. Correction, that's Arshdeep Brar out in the deep, who's unable to quite chase that down. And that is a 4.
Tall Arshdeep Brar diving full length and still the ball evading. You've got to give it to the batter then. He's chosen the carpet route. It's still got 4. The outfield, is it getting better and better, or is it just the fact that he hit it so very well?
71 for 2 as we go to the 12th over.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Angelo Pereira. That was straight enough. You've got an appeal joining in from long gone. And that was the loudest of it. I mean, he's just ensured that the choir listens to him. He's getting nicely warmed up. And who thought he's getting warmed up for an appeal himself? When he bowls, the Rusty Theron's always a wonderful character. And that's another thing that we like about 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship. It's a game of characters, isn't it? A game of cricket, a melting pot with cricketers from all around the world.
Absolutely. I suspect Rusty perhaps missing a little bit of the time he spent last season on commentary, so I wanted to make sure our mics got him. Captain back on strike, Cody Chetty, after a single for Varadia, following the choir performance.
Oh, that's beautifully struck. There is a sweeper in place to ensure it's a single only. Some of the good shots are going straight to the fielder again. Angelo Pereira does his homework. And that homework is according to each particular batter. We'll tell you more about it in the next over because Angelo Pereira is someone who believes in getting through the overs quickly, much like any captain would like to. That has hit timber. Didn't bounce as much. Karan Viradia out of shape as he looks to tonk it out of the park. Didn't hear the ball whistling past anybody, only heard the death rattle.
Just 2 runs for Varadia. That, again, Angelo Pereira first bowling to his field and then bowling to his stumps. Takes out yet another player. Still has his opposing captain at the non-striker's end, but we'll see who's joining him in just a moment. 2 so far from the over, 2 balls left in it, 73 for 3.
Context of the game, Karan Viradia was looking to break free. A good shot of his bat was stopped. He was looking a little itchy. He wanted to take the singles and convert them into 2 as well. Karan Viradia looking for glory there, missing it completely. Perhaps a little early in his innings, you would believe. Because once he gets set, that's when he turns the game around.
Yeah, just his 5th ball faced, and that's been the way of it here. When he gets going big. 34 against Golden State, 41 against San Diego. 13 against San Diego in the other outing, but besides that, you've got a 1, a 0, a 3, and a 3, and now a 2. So generally, if you can get stuck in, they say those first 5 balls, maybe 10 balls of an innings, that's where you're most vulnerable if you try to cut loose too early. And maybe a little early for the frustration, but it pays off. And East Bay continue to take wickets at regular intervals, continue to break partnerships, and look to keep this as a manageable total they can chase down quickly and up their net run rate.
He's now bowling as slow as possible. He's bowling, the ball's coming out of the hand beautifully indeed. Just not giving it that full rip as well. It's just floating the ball up in the air. He's making sure the ball's pulled by a string there. It's like, is it a kite?
New man at the crease is Ravi Timbawala, unable to get off the mark on the first 2 deliveries he faces. That ends the 12th, just 2 and a wicket from it, 73 for 3.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need 1 hand on the roof, 1 hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go Rewards, when you fuel, you save because rewards come first.
This will be the final over for Sanjay Krishnamurthy from the homestead end. Cody Chetty, the captain, on strike. First delivery brings up the appeal and the finger. And Sanjay Krishnamurthy as well now in the wickets. Cody Chetty, the captain, dismissed, and East Bay looking to bring this innings crumbling down on the Hollywood Master Blasters.
Hollywood Master Blasters are repeating the same mistakes yet again. A wicket falls and then suddenly the captain has to depart too in the very next over. 2 new men at the crease, just what the doctor ordered for Angelo Pereira's men. East Bay Blazers will now look for the hunt to go for the kill.
Indeed, a chance here to potentially put that net run rate completely out of reach. And for all we know, Golden State may well take care of this beyond any doubt, period, if they can spring the upset today over Seattle. And it's not a huge upset. We know Golden State, a very quality side that generally has just had a few players underperforming. I think one of the toughest things has just been seeing Zia Shahzad struggle as much as he has with the bat because he gives you so much in the other 2 phases. But last season, he was everything to them. This year, unable to get going with the bat, and it's really hamstrung the middle of their batting.
That is definitely a contributing factor, Joe. Along with that, missing Azam's services with the ball in hand has made a big difference. And on top of it, Vatsal Vaghela would be there on national duty, but letting him go as well was a little tough for Sami Aslam because he was a bowler shot, a spinner shot, with Zia anyways not performing to his best. He peaked but slightly late there, Zia, for his team's liking.
They can certainly do some damage there. We've got a new man at the crease for the Hollywood Master Blasters. It'll be Andrew Deluate. Deluate on the season, a strike rate of 54, an 8.2 average. Generally has been more comfortable against spin. He's only lost it, or excuse me, pace rather. He's only lost his wicket against that once. 17 runs, but has lost his wicket 4 times against spin bowlers like Sanjay here. A dot to start.
Sanjay Krishnamurthy has found his mojo. It's just that he had gone for runs in the first 3, 23 runs before he started delivering the final over. Starts off with a beautiful delivery to efface the captain of the opposition. Now he's got to keep it going. He's got to bowl the next 4 in lovely areas too. That's one less. He wants that single. It was an afterthought for Deluate, who was very absorbed in the shot he's just played.
Krishnamurthy certainly has enjoyed his bowling and his batting against this Master Blasters side to go along with that 75 off 25 with bat in hand. They gave him the ball in the second innings, 2 wickets, 10 runs conceded in 3 overs. So Krishnamurthy looking for a repeat performance there. He's just got a few balls left to contribute in this one as Timbawala runs that just behind point. Dot ball.
Ravi Timbawala is taking his time as well as he realizes he's the senior of the 2 batters out there. He's got to play longer innings and perhaps the anchor's role too. And at the moment, he's being handcuffed. He's not allowed to free his arms at all. Some of the shots that you feel that they're right up Timbawala's alley. He'll go for the drive, but he's not doing so. He's instead choosing to block it right under his eyes. And Sanjay Krishnamurthy would not mind that at all. What a fantastic over for Sanjay Krishnamurthy as he finishes with extraordinary figures as far as he's concerned after giving away 23 in the first 3 and just 1 in the last one. 23 and 1 for him, 74 for 4.
Captain Angie Pereira starts the 14th over with the wicket of Andrew Deluate. That one under the bat, through the gate, and straight to the stumps.
Angelo Pereira has decoded what to do on this track, at least with a ball in hand. Just leave it, let it float up in the air as much as possible, and when it lands, it behaves like a golf ball. Squeezes it between the bat and pad, hits timber. This is a repeat of the same script for Hollywood Master Blasters. Every time they've got themselves in good positions, they've also given it away with bamboozling shot selections. One from Karan Viradia that sort of started the slump.
Oh, indeed. This is a team that even the one game where they've had the 50 opening partnership crumbled to 110 all out. Didn't even bat out the innings. Just have never quite figured out the middle of this. They've got a few good, decent guys up top, but Chetty and Timbawala have never quite fired the way they did last season. And Malik's been out a lot. Ramkumar has struggled to keep the run rate up, keep the strike rate up, and just every time out, you get a little bit of hope for them, and then it seems to tail off around this point or a little earlier.
Yeah, the core exported from San Diego Surf Riders of last year, and the core hasn't performed up to its expectations and up to their reputation as well. Ravi Timbawala has got a couple of fantastic 50s, one up in Houston too, and that was a great 50 to watch because of the way he cultivated and converted those good starts into a landmark. Oh, that could be close. That could be as straight as it gets as well. He's not looking to turn the ball at all. That's all right because that's going to hit the timber anyway. Didn't
even have the chance to introduce Dan Ranatunga, the Hollywood wicketkeeper, and he is sent walking immediately by Angie Pereira. 4 wickets for Angie, and he's on a hat trick.
Angelo Pereira is decided to do good for his side and his stats as well. But Tom Nielsen looking at him in operation in these overs especially. Angelo Pereira is not looking to turn the ball, as I said. He's just looking to float it up and let the ball do its thing, and he's making sure that it goes as straight as possible. At this level, Jans missed a pretty straight ball. It didn't bounce as much. That's another thing. Just removing one of his countrymen out of the equation there, Angelo Pereira.
Just an absolutely stunning middle order collapse here. They were at 73 for 2 in the 12th over. We sit here not even halfway through the 14th, and it's now 74 for 6. Pereira's had 3 of those. Sanjay Krishnamurthy getting one in his final over of work. Here comes Pereira on a hat trick, and that is blocked away and unable to add to the lure. There have been 4 of them in, 5, I believe, in minor league cricket history. 3 this season. Don't get to see a third.
How he's making the batter a candidate for LBW is also because he's not looking to turn the ball. So that means the ball will go hit straight as possible. The umpire doesn't have to worry about calculating that turn as well. Just look at the point of impact. It becomes easier to lift the finger.
Chance there is Patel, the new batter, Timil Patel, wandering a little bit as it nearly found its way to Carmine LaRue. Is that we have a leg slip in place right now?
His fine leg inside the circle. It's just that he's taking such bigger start that he's ending up as a leg slip almost. Carmine LaRue, that's a poor delivery. What was a fantastic over from Angelo Pereira. He's just missing his mark. He's done that twice in 2 balls. None of them would be counted. Timil Patel, always exciting to watch. Very quick runner between the wickets. 14 overs gone. 76 for 6.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
A 6-over string of spin bowling comes to an end. Nawaz Khan will go from the homestead end. Enters play today with 16 wickets to his name. Generally speaking, he gets most of those in the period beginning 1 over from now. This is the 15th. But he's got 9 of his 16 coming up between overs number 15 and 20. And they're going to have plenty of him to go around in the late overs here. Can use him for the 17th and the 19th, potentially.
He's a master of cutters, Nawaz Khan. And he bowled well. Yesterday, he's playing for a different team. Afghanistan, CC, if I'm not wrong. A different league altogether, but we're still looking at it just to see if he's in rhythm or no, and he was bowling really well indeed, and he was looking to bowl the cutters more often on a track which is very, very different, doesn't resemble this track at all. But perhaps honing his skill for the bigger game, which is today. When was the last time you saw a slower but shorter delivery? It's not a bouncer. It's not exactly a bouncer. He didn't attempt to bowl one either, but it was slower, 3/4 back, shorter.
To be fair, the bouncers look a little bit more impressive with Timil Patel batting.
And Nawaz in operation. That's true. That's very true indeed. But it's not like anything for anybody else. It's going to be hip high, and that's how Timil Patel's built. I've seen shorter batters prosper too. To a great extent, in fact.
I say Timil's been useful as of late. A 19, a 22, and an 11 in late batting in 3 of his last 4 matches. That one is dug out by Ravi Timbawala. They'll take a quick single. His single to start the over, in fact, got him off the mark. He was a mere spectator to the carnage in the last over. 3 so far, 3 singles off Nawaz Khan, who's working on an 8-match streak of matches with a wicket.
And Angelo Pereira seems to be a very different kind of a captain also, because he doesn't follow a template. You know that he's going to use the spinners more often than not, but you don't know when Nawaz Khan's going to be bowling as well.
And one run down to third man. No problems there for Kulpreet Singh. Another single. At this point, keeping Hollywood at a run a ball, that's going to give you a relatively straightforward total to chase. They aren't quite at a run a ball at this point overall in the innings, and so anything in that 100 to 110 region, if you're David White and Saideep Ganesh, you know you can get that in 11 or 12 overs and really put this out of sight for Seattle.
That would be very treacherous for Seattle indeed. To be very honest, imagine you were getting an opportunity to finish it in 14 overs. That's what the scorecards tell you. That's what the calculations tell you. And suddenly you realize a team that you dreamed would lose is finishing it off in 14. So it's important from Seattle's point of view that this game is dragged down as much as possible, and that's why their prayers would be featuring Hollywood Master Blasters performing well. So far 76, 77, but every 6 wickets down already. They're looking they're looking to be on the back foot. They've got to up the ante, but they've got to pick and choose the bowlers to do so. Nawaz Khan's a difficult customer to hit away.
Last ball is cut on and missed by Timil Patel. 5 from the over. 81 for 6.
1, 2, 3.
And the captain, Angie Pereira, continues from the commentary end of the ground. 3 overs so far, 4 for 10. Sparkling figures with ball in hand for Pereira.
A fiver on the cards. Who knows? Angelo Pereira has got 5 more deliveries to spin a web around the batter to try and create the magic.
And just one fifer in East Bay Blazers history. Belongs to Jaron Alfred earlier this season. 5 balls left to try to find it. Pereira has that one worked away to the offside. Protection in the deep. It'll just be a single here for Timil Patel. Or rather, Ravi Timbawala.
Angelo Pereira, but he flied the ball. No, he's bowled it quicker this time. And I think Saideep Ganesh has done the trick. No, the finger that matters has stayed down. Timil Patel, mind you, is not built the biggest. So even if he drags out a little, then he's got to make a huge effort to get back into the crease there. I think he's been rocked off a wicket. What do you feel? That would have been a fiver. Of course, the efficacy of the wicket is different altogether. You look at the scorecard and say, anyways, Hollywood Master Blasters are not off to a great start or a great finish, but juxtapose it with the fact that Angelo Pereira has picked up 4 and is looking for his 5th.
Well, very nearly a third stumping on the season for Ganesh. He, in fact, had 2 stumpings in the final over of the first Pacific Conference fifer, that one by Abby Singh of Golden State Grizzlies. I was on the call for that one. It was my first game working for minor league cricket. I remember it very, very vividly. Actually, against these Hollywood Master Blasters, come to think of it.
Barring that one delivery, Timil Patel was in all sorts of trouble. Timil Patel's been the most comfortable after Angelo Pereira discovered the sweet spot on the cricket pitch here at Santa Clara. That was quicker. Suddenly he's trying to bowl quicker. In this over, after the second delivery, everything's been quicker.
1 ball left in his spell. Here's a chance for it. Able to keep that one off the timber. A tidy over, but denied a little bit of East Bay Blazers history. 2 from it. 82 for 6.
Is looking to attack now, looking to shift gears. Ravi Timbawala is also practicing the free flow of the bat at the non-striker's end. Hollywood Master Blasters, to add respectable total on the board, they've got to look to attack in this over so that they can have enough momentum to go big in the last 3 as well. It's 4 overs left, 82 on the board. If they finish with at least a runner ball with 120 on a track which is a little up and down, they can do wonders. Arshdeep Brar has been brought back into the attack, and that too from his favourite end.
I'll tell you this, all the success that Angie Pereira has been having, I'll tell you who's watching that and licking his lips is Basant Regmi. Thinking about what he might be able to do making the ball talk. He's been, for Hollywood, the same sort of middle overs stopper. Hasn't taken as many wickets as you might like, and that's part of the reason why he hasn't shown up as high on the impact stats, but Regmi has been the thing that has kept Hollywood in a few of these games a little bit later than they might have otherwise.
Just opens the face of the bat, will only be a single. Ravi Timbawala also has got to look for the bigger denominations at this point of time. Timil has got to convert the singles into twos and play to his strengths. His strength is to be as quick as possible between the wickets. That's hit really well. Will Scott today call for 2, but doesn't need to run. That's in the gap as well. Effortless. And an important boundary in the context of the game as Hollywood Master Blasters get some momentum going.
First boundary in 5 overs and 3 balls for the Master Blasters. They have been stuck at the crease, taking singles, dots, and damage for the last 5 or 6 overs here. 2 left in this frame. Arshdeep Brar, better line, able to keep that one on the infield. Is the man circling over from mid-on.
Arshdeep Brar didn't get it too wrong on that occasion, just bowled it slightly wider and slower. Timil Patel was quick to latch onto it. Much like this one, he is not afraid to use his feet. Long off, long gone on that occasion, will cut it off, ensure it's a single. And Ravi Timbawala has got to wait for his turn to bat again. The single of the last ball would be in. Timil Patel will retain strike. 89 for 6. Hollywood Master Blasters get a move on.
My son, he's so soft-spoken. Oh, yeah! Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom. Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
Carmine LaRue coming from the commentary end for the 18th over. LaRue so far this season has been a decent wicket taker in his brief time with the East Bay Blazers at the death. 3 of those in the handful of overs he's bowled has been a bit on the expensive side, going at nearly 2 runs a ball. So if you can get around on that left arm pace, this might be Hollywood's chance to try to inflict a little damage and push this total out a little further, give East Bay something a bit more imposing to chase.
120, and you never know, if you get early wickets, it could be game on. And on a track which will assist the bowlers more than the batters, I genuinely feel 120 is the minimum that you need to get here. Looks like a batting paradise, behaves like another. Quite another, behaves like a minefield for the batter.
And there's one that stayed down a little bit on Timil Patel. He's able to work it away, but no run there.
If it stayed down for Timil Patel, just imagine, did it ever bounce?
You got to watch out or he's going to be mad when he listens back to this.
No, he's someone who's great sport indeed. And out of all the cricketers, I can promise you, Timil Patel has got the best mimicry artist in him. And if you've been following Bollywood, then you could give him some names. He'll take care of it.
I'm going to have to leave that up to you, Suhas. That one buzzing the shoulder blades of Timil Patel. Straight through to Ganesh, swing and a miss.
Timil Patel suddenly realizes that is extra pace indeed. So far, he was looking very comfortable, even dancing down the track to the spinners. Now with Carmine LaRue and Carmine's extra pace and bounce, would be tricky indeed. As far as this pitch is concerned, you expect extra bounce from Carmine, which he is delivering, but only at times. The fact that it keeps low would be lingering in the mind of the batter. When negotiated off his hips, gets the single. Timil Patel's been looking the most promising of late. You talked about the first boundary being scored in 5 overs. After the middle order slump, you needed someone to bat out of their shell. Timil Patel has got Hollywood Master Blasters out of their shell. It's up to Ravi Timbawala to change gears here and try and post a total of at least 120, Joe.
Yeah, Timbawala, a 95 strike rate on the season, but 152 when he bats at the death. So somebody who can be useful here towards the end. Does like the pace bowling. Strike rate of 112 on the season against that, but tied to his crease here. Worked away to the offside. Another dot ball for LaRue.
Brilliant delivery. He executed the slower ball to perfection. Saw that Timbawala was looking to go inside out, creating room. But as much as Timbawala was manufacturing room for himself, Carmine LaRue took the pace off, and that means Timbawala has got to time it really well to go inside out. This is good thinking by Carmine, who watches the batter till the last moment.
Timbawala uses his legs to get a little bit of room and tries to guide that wide of David White. It's a race to the boundary rope. White will get to it and get a little dirty for his troubles. Bit of laundry to do there after stopping that at the boundary, but it will net a few runs for the Hollywood Master Blasters.
Yeah, much important boundary saved. Would have guaranteed some momentum, especially with Timbawala looking for boundaries and sixes. Carmine LaRue, he'll try to thank you note to David White.
Yeah, that has got to hurt a little bit more than usual out there going into the dirt. I know you wear special pants in cricket like you do in baseball, but yow.
But that is a good collect. And to be collecting Carmine when it's whizzing past your ear, Saideep Ganesh has found his mojo.
Indeed. Just 3 off the over. Carmine economical inside the power play. 92 for 6.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
.92 for 6. 12 balls left in this innings. Nawaz Khan will bowl 6 of them. He'll be up against Timil Patel. Timil Patel can do wonders if he decides to add the ramp shot to his game. That's a beautiful shot indeed. That's running away quickly as well. The sweeper picks it up. Timbawala runs to the second, while Timil Patel jogs for the second. It all depends on which end the throw is going to be, isn't it?
Now, Timil Patel of the two seems to be the one making more solid contact, a better risk or a bigger risk for getting it to the boundary rope. So you like him getting back on strike at this point. If he's feeling it, time to take charge.
Oh, this one did bounce. Again, pace was also taken off the ball. That's one of the contributing factors, but he's also trying to keep it a little wide from Timil Patel. Timil Patel's very shrewd. He's covering the off stump, and now he's trying to move outside the off as well to make better contact.
Yeah, that's a rough delivery there when you don't know when or where the ball is. Said, is it coming to me on time? Nope, it's slow. Is it coming to me where I expect it to off the surface? Not that either. You just kind of thank your lucky stars you didn't make any contact with it, and your timber's still upright.
You got to be prepared for that cutter, and that is exactly what he's done here. Nawaz Khan's targeting the top of off. Brilliant delivery indeed. He's found the right spot to be bowling on this kind of a track. Timil Patel was a little late on it as well, I felt.
We saw the briefest of rebounds for Hollywood after they lost those 2 quick wickets. 5 runs, then 2, then 7 in the 3 overs that followed. But since then, LaRue 3, Nawaz so far 2 off of this over. Make it 3 as it gets worked to the man at mid-off.
Ravi Timbawala. He's got to find that one delivery which is dispatched over the fence. We've talked about his strike rate blooming and blossoming towards the end. He's someone who's looking set as well. He's prepared to launch it. But can he do so from the middle of the bat? He's thrown his bat at this one. Fielder in the deep would be catch practice for him. Doesn't let this one go. Ravi Timbawala goes for glory. Doesn't get it from the best part of the bat. And you could see the frustration on his face as this is another important wicket for East Bay Blazers.
And gone in single figures here. 7 off of 17 balls for Ravi Timbawala. Breaks a recent run of double-digit scores. But just not enough there for Hollywood, really, from any part of their lineup so far. Malik, the brief, bright start, but since he's departed, it's been all downhill. 7 wickets down, 95 for 7, 7 balls remaining.
I really wish it would have been 150%. Then it would have been game on. Five short of 100 here. Hollywood Master Blasters. He's dug this one out. Thibil Patel, that was a good Yorker. And one of the quickest Yorkers. He's got to check his bat after this one because of the sound it made. I felt the vibration as well. That is a toe crusher. And sometimes you're talking about the toe of the bat when you're bowling those Yorkers. 96 for 7.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need 1 hand on the roof, 1 hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go rewards, when you fuel, you save because rewards come first.
Kamai Leroux to bowl the final over. Kamai Leroux was expensive in the initial part of this game and now in a different role. When he gets a different role, he's on a roll.
Indeed, 18 off of the 2 that he bowled inside the power play, but now 3 off of the over just a few minutes ago.
Would you imagine when the batters are coming after you and you've got more protection in the deep as well? He is terrific indeed. He's landed it right where he wanted it to. The ball is listening to him as it comes off his hand. In the death overs, you've got to be very accurate indeed because the margin of error shrinks as the batter is anyways looking to go after you. This is the case in the first 6 as well, as one would realize. But Kamai Leroux is looking a different bowler come the death.
Left arm over the wicket. That one worked to the offside. Pierces the infield, looking for the 2, but sent back by Timil Patel is Venakalian Madireddy at the now striker's end. He'll face his first delivery in a moment. Oh, correction. I'm sorry. That was Venu's first run. He is off.
So Venakalian Madireddy, he's got to tell himself, let me score some runs to bowl at. Looks like a good track to bowl. You get about 10. That would be 10 priceless runs.
Again, solid, confident fielding in the deep. We saw a couple of balls eat up the East Bay fielders earlier in the match, but they've looked very solid here for the last, let's say, 12 to 15 overs. Much more confident, stopped a few boundaries, largely dried up the runs.
Yes, we were expecting it to be short. Everyone was expecting it to be short. In the end, Saideep Ganesh, despite the best jump he could ever offer, the ball was not to be tamed. Kamai Leroux, only if the keeper were as tall as you. What should have been a threat has been neutralized, and in fact, it's turned out to be a bane.
With the 5 wides, that does bring up the 100 for Hollywood Master Blasters. In fact, extras at the moment, one of their leading scorers so far in this innings. Timil Patel, 16, 15 extras, 27 and 25 from Chetty and Malik. Inside-out swing, that's going to land safely. Bit of topspin on it, but it is handled out at the boundary. They'll take 2. That'll keep Madireddy on strike.
Carmelo is looking for the toe crusher once again. He's looking for the Yorker because he's already bowled the shorter delivery. Yes, it is a Yorker, and that stirs up a lot of dust indeed. Timil Patel's running into a tornado is what he would feel.
Kalyan with a single, and that'll leave Timil Patel with the duty of facing the final delivery of the first innings.
107, a little below par, looking at the track. They would have wanted at least 120. That is where the middle order slump would be talked about. 107, would that be enough? Can he get a boundary here? No, he doesn't get it from anywhere from the middle of the bat. Who looks for two? The two should be on. Venu Kalyan Majid Reddy realizes it. Timil was a little late to realize the same. Up goes the finger, so it shall be only one run added to the tally. 108 is what Hollywood Master Blasters have managed in their allotted 20.
And with that target set at 109 for the East Bay Blazers, first and foremost, make sure you get there. But a chance here to try to get there quickly and end this any realistic possibility of Seattle Thunderbolts closing the gap and sneaking their way into the playoffs tomorrow. We'll let you know how their match is going when we come back on the other side of this break. But again, Master Blasters, a 108 for 8 is how they finish up. 25 from Malik, 27 to lead all scorers for Chetty, 17 there at the end and a decent cameo from Timil Patel, fourth leading scorer of the 15 extras. And so without that, could have been an even more desperate situation for HMB. We'll be back in about 10 with the second innings. Target set for East Bay, 109.
To a flying start, something that he's known for in the circles. Much like that was in the gap too. Must not have enough fuel. Eventually does.
They will be chasing. That one worked nicely off the hip and run down to third man. That'll be a single. 3 runs so far for Abdullah Had.
This is from the middle of the bat, of course, and this will travel the distance. We didn't have to wait much to see the first 6.
Inside the power play. That one knocked straight back by the hand of Carmelo LaRue. Headed toward the sight screen. Looks like it's got just enough Sunoco in the tank.
Shot of the day. Yes, it might not be a boundary, but just for the style quotient, I think he's making it up. He's making up for that one with a beautiful shot, and he's targeted.
And went for 5 boundaries, 2 of them over on the fly. First delivery to Malik is banged straight into the stumps. He might be in a different mindset here. Cody Chetty will work that one from the leg line and plunk it over David White. Certainly is vulnerable to it. Average of 15.7 against spin this season. Gets a lot of this one, but it's going to hang in the air. A diving catch from Rusty Theron at long off, and that is going to be the end of the day for Murnal.
For a keeper. Beautifully driven. And despite the dive, the ball will evade and go for 4.
Back from an injury. Doesn't quite look himself, but we'll get there.
Wants that single. Cody Chetty wants that single. But it wasn't a clean pickup, and on top of it, he's hurt himself too. Cody Chetty.
Fantastic fielder this season for the Blazers, so somebody you hope is all right. There's another ball cut away. That's going to be a long run for Vikash Mohan. He can't get there as Kulpreet Singh in as the substitute defender, unable to stop
Believes in getting through the overs quickly. Much like any captain would like to. That has hit timber. Didn't bounce as much. Karan Viradia out of shape as he looks to tonk it out of the park.
First delivery brings up the appeal and the finger. And Sanjay Krishnamurthy as well now in the wickets. Captain Angie Pereira starts the 14th over with the wicket of Andrew Dalawate. That one under the bat through the gate and straight to the stumps.
He waited and converted those good starts into a landmark. Oh, that could be close. That could be as straight as it gets as well. He's not looking to turn the ball at all. That's hit really well. Will Skull today call for 2, but doesn't need to run. That's in the gap as well. Just the batter till the last moment.
Timbawala uses his legs to get a little bit of room and tries to guide that wide of David White. It's a race to the boundary rope. White will get to it. and get a little dirty for his troubles. Bit of laundry to do there after stopping that at the boundary, but it will net a few runs for the Hollywood Master Blasters.
Yeah, but can he do so from the middle of the bat? He's thrown his bat at this one. Fielder in the deep would be catch practice for him. Doesn't let this one go.
Up the runs.
Yes, we were expecting it to be short. Everyone was expecting it to be short. Would that be enough? Can he get a boundary here? No, he doesn't. Doesn't get it from anywhere from the middle of the bat. Who looks for two? The two should be on. Venu Kalyan Majid Reddy realizes it. Timil was a little late to realize the same. Up goes the finger, so it shall be only 1 run added to the tally. 108 is what...
You're watching the Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, presented by Sunoco. You're watching the Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, presented by Sunoco.
A chase of 109 runs for East Bay Blazers to reach an 11-3 record and ensure themselves at worst a tie atop, in the second position rather, in the Western Division. And that tie likely to pay off in a playoff spot as long as the net run rate of the Seattle Thunderbolts doesn't climb over theirs. We'll tell you all about the various machinations here as the Blazers look to chase down the Hollywood Master Blasters total. It'll be Venakalian Madireddy coming from the commentary end to get things started against the opening partnership that has been so impressive over the course of this season. Saideep Ganesh to take the first ball, and it's a full toss that will pierce the fielders in the inside. That's going to hit the dirt and maybe pick up a little speed. Cody Chetty able to get there before it gets across the boundary rope. 2 right off the bat against Madireddy to start off this chase. Joe Hickey here. We got Bud Jadabans at the controls. Andrew Grindle up in the stratosphere operating the camera work. Here from Santa Clara. And of course, as I've been for many games this season and continue to enjoy this being the case, Suhas Vedam with me as Ganesh goes a little bit harder through the same gap and gets his reward this time. First boundary of the second innings. 6 runs off the first 2 balls. Suhas, thanks again for being with us, and quite an interesting chase we've got developing here with more on the line besides just getting the victory.
Absolutely. It's one of those games where the connoisseur of cricket, and especially the followers of 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, would be looking at not just one game, but 3.
Indeed. Seattle Thunderbolts just starting, as we do, their chase of 122 up at Klahani Park. That's the total 122 all out put up by Golden State Grizzlies. We'll give you a sense of what these two teams are looking to do to maintain the current advantage and to extend it. That is a gorgeous shot just through backward point. Saideep Ganesh back-to-back boundaries. He is off to a flyer.
Look no further for Dafanu's shot of the day. He is batting on a different track altogether. The first one was slightly pitched up, driven beautifully for 4. This one's slightly short, and the man who's anyways crouching, nice low hands, gets bat to ball and puts it away. Whips it away out of his sight.
Yeah, just 9 boundaries in the first innings. Only one of them on the fly. So far, 2 off 2 deliveries for Saideep Ganesh. That one looks like it got his legs as he threw the shot too early. Apparently did get some bat to it, but a very early shot. Looks like he picked that leading edge up and lucky not to get himself in a tangle.
Nice change in pace by Venukalyan Madireddy, who was looking to draw the pace of it anyway when he realized that providing pace to this batter is asking for trouble. David White, a different kind of a batter, a different reach, someone who loves to take his own time before he creates that innings for himself and builds a base and then goes blazing as he scores a good innings of about 50, 60. That's what he usually gets. So he's someone who loves to build an innings before exploding.
David White, one of just 5 or 4 players in minor league cricket that have gone over the 50 mark 5 times this season. In fact, the fun thing is all 4 of them in Northern California. You got Shahan Jayasuriya, you got Unmukt Chand, you got Sammy Aslam, and you got David White. Classy batting all the way around. A wide to start to him.
David White has been man of the moment for many a run chase for East Bay Blazers. Started off this campaign as a captain of the side too. That is driven wonderfully. This was more about not a full-fledged drive, but a gentle punch. Excellent shot for 4.
My word, the Blazers have absolutely been all about that gap. 3rd ball shot through there. Ganesh managing a 2 and a 4 off of it. White now into the boundaries as well.
David White just easing it through the gap. Now imagine two batters of contrasting styles targeting the same shot, same region, getting the same result. Venu Kalyan Madireddy either has been touchful or touch shot. Hasn't found the right length. This is when he eventually finds it. It's taken him 5 balls to find the golden spot. Into the over. 16 for no loss. A good start for East Bay Blazers.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
A great start for East Bay Blazers. They didn't look to take many risks, but still were able to amass 16 runs and deflate the total to below 100. 93 required in 19 overs now for East Bay Blazers as they get off to a blazing start indeed, Joe.
And the amount of wiggle room they want, if they're going to maintain their 1.40 net run rate, they need to chase this with about 21 balls remaining. They seem well on their way to doing that. Seattle, by the way, 7 balls into their chase, 14 for no loss. So they're trying to go at about 2 runs a ball and pick up that chase as quickly as possible as well. See if they can keep themselves in this. Of course, the danger is the potential loss of early wickets, and you might lose that game altogether.
Fantastic shot. That's a great area to be targeting. That'll be 4. He's just ruled the outfield out of the equation by hitting the ball in the air and making sure it covers 75% of the ground region. And because he's getting it from the middle of the bat as well, he's finding boundaries with these. Now, David White and Saidip Ganesh have been instructed very clearly from the captain, try and finish it as quickly as possible. It's not a daunting total. Deflate as much as possible. Karan Viradia has been thrown the ball too, and he's gone for 4 first ball with a slip in place though. Vasant Regmi, you rightly pointed out, Joe, would be licking his lips, but I think he's got to wait till the 6-over mark is complete, where he has more cushion at the boundary rope. Or do you feel he'll be introduced within the first power play itself? That's a different ball game altogether. Straight down the ground with mid-off up in the circle. Save your legs. That's going to travel. We'll wait for the umpire signal just beyond the boundary cushions. Or he is like a spitting cobra. Depending on the prey size, it injects only that much venom. Didn't try to hit it hard at all. Once again, dancing down the track and lifting the ball up and let the ball do the rest. Fly away, grow wings.
Well, and so many attempts to hit the ball to the boundary are risky. That one, not at all. The man up in the circle, no problems at all with that. Another swing and a miss here for Ganesh. He's alternated boundaries with coming up empty, but that's working just fine. 10 already from the over.
Karan Viradia now knows that his cushion is also lessened because of those 2 boundaries early on. Cody Chetty would be telling his boys, yes, you would go for runs, because they also understand the mindset of the opponents. The mindset of the opponents is not just to win this game, but to mentally win the battle, which is being played across the country. One is up in Seattle all the way at the Klahani Park.
Gotta love it. Nationwide league, coast-to-coast action this weekend in minor league cricket as the regular season comes to an end. A miss there. That one pops up on Ranatunga, who's up at the stumps, unable to settle it. Don't know if Ganesh got a piece of that.
No, Ganesh absolutely missed it. It was such a good delivery. So good that even the keeper didn't have an answer to it, but an opportunity gone begging.
4 dots, a 4 and a long ball, 26 for no loss.
1, 2, 3.
Tamil Patel from the commentary end of the ground. He'll be facing David White after a productive over from Saideep Ganesh. Only made contact with 2 of the 4 deliveries, but boy, did he make contact.
Timil Patel would be a handful on a track of this kind. It's important that he uses his 24 balls as gold dust. Starts off well. The bat and pad were very close to each other. That's what has saved David White on that occasion. He's trying to plonk his front foot outside the line as well to make him not a candidate of LBW. David White, a very shrewd cricketer. Textbook at its best. I think he's bookmarked a few pages there. What do you think this conversation would be? David White and Saideep Ganesh, would it have a word about Timil Patel if the ball's turning or no? Or would it be something general, Joe?
I wouldn't be surprised if it's keep doing what you're doing. At the moment, middling just about everything that he has made contact with, and so far striking at 210. Ganesh usually the quicker of the starters in a power play. That one worked to the offside, but there's a man there.
3 men for the cut shot. One, of course, is third man inside the circle. It's not very conventional, but slightly wider. Man at point and man at backward point. Just tells you Timil Patel is willing to make the batter cut on a track which is not turning much. Or sweep of this kind would do. Misfield from Basant Regmi. No resistance offered whatsoever. A single completed. Timil Patel's got to be looking to bowl as many dot deliveries as possible too, because once you're bowling to the same batter, you make him feel itchy. And that's when he'll try and go outside his comfort zone to look for runs. At the moment, singles are being taken very, very easily.
And you notice there the fielder moved into the deep, Karan Baradia, specifically to cut off that shot that Ganesh and White were hitting to such great effect in the first over.
They've got the best fielders in the right position here. They're learning from their mistakes in the previous game. Hollywood Master Blasters, he's tried for something cheeky. That's missed timber. Saideep Ganesh is wondering why did it miss the bat. I think he's lucky to be there. That could have cannoned into the stumps otherwise. 29 for no loss in 3. East Bay Blazers.
My son, he's so soft-spoken. Oh, yeah! Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom. Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
Go to him early, possibly knowing this opening partnership. You got to go to him before it's too late.
Oh, yes, absolutely. It's a matter of wickets here for Hollywood Master Blasters, and that was the key, especially against East Bay Blazers. They knew it at the halfway stage itself. They knew it at the innings break itself. That the cushion that they've got is not a very big one, and David White can make it look minuscule if he bats through. It's important to pick early wickets, and that's something Hollywood Master Blasters have struggled more often than not in this league.
Well, and Basant Regmi is the leader in those impact stats that Tom Nielsen puts together for this club, 26th in minor league cricket overall. He does have a good net effect on the team in the power play, though he hasn't been used a whole lot there. 40 overs bowled this season. Just, I believe, doing some math in my head, just 6 of those inside the power play, but he has gone 3 for 42 in those 6. First delivery to White, worked away for a single to the offside. You were saying it before, the same sort of thing that Angie Pereira picked up on early here is that this wicket seems to be a bit of a spinner's paradise, and Angie called his own number, and of course also called that of Arshdeep Brar and of Sanjay Krishnamurthy to great effect. That middle portion of the match, Hollywood just absolutely clamped. 40 runs in the power play and then only 40 for the next 9 overs. That's in the air. Looks like he might have gotten his hand under it, but spills it. Mrunal Patel unable to hold it. Had a chance to dismiss Ganesh early.
The experienced wily fox, Basant Regmi, creates an opportunity. The captain has nobody else but himself to blame there. Would have taken it 9 out of 10 times. Straightforward chance gone begging. Oh, this one has gone through his legs. Will still be a single. This is excellent running by David White. He knew it was going to be his call because Saideep Ganesh was searching for the ball. Trusting his partner, Saideep started to run and David White completed with a prod in the end.
Saideep, the fantastic youngster, getting a lot more run this season than he did last year with Golden State. Has made the most of it. One of the more productive batters in all of minor league cricket this season and part of, I think, arguably the best opening partnership in the league right now.
Absolutely, Joe. And this one didn't bounce as much. And it's the same syllabus. It's the same wicket. East Bay Blazers were enjoying it when Hollywood Master Blasters weren't putting bat to ball because of the lack of bounce. Now with Basant Regmi in operation, David White has got to accommodate the lack of bounce as well. Now, would he also go for nice low hands, much like Saideep Ganesh has?
That's the Bangalore school, right?
Yes.
I'm learning. He does, taps it right back to Regmi, and worth noting after the 4.6 that Ganesh put up in the second over against Karan Baradia, since then, just 5 runs in the ensuing 14 deliveries.
I'm very glad that the wicket hasn't turned for the worse here. He did come down the track, but oh, that has gone through. That is sloppy. Because he got a couple of fingers to it, that means the ball went run away. Single is complete. Not much damage done, but a lot of thinking to do for Hollywood Master Blasters. If they've got to stay in the game, they've got to pick up wickets. 32 for no loss.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
The Hollywood Master Blasters looking to mount the pressure. Just 6 runs off the last 2 overs for East Bay. Timil Patel stays in at the commentary end. First delivery to White is a single. And we are monitoring all sorts of action across the country right now.
Yes, 5 required of 1 over, the final over for Michigan Cricket Stars if they want to pick up a win over here, which will decide their advancement.
Well, no decisions just yet. That'll keep them alive. They would need to do the trick again tomorrow and upset Dallas once more in order to do it. But it would keep them alive. It would keep Chicago Tigers waiting and alternately pouring perhaps adult drinks and Pepto-Bismol in order to deal with the end of that. So that match, very interesting. Also up in Seattle, 46 for 1 with just 4 overs gone up there. So Thunderbolts know the syllabus, and they're going to it. There's another nice delivery from Timil Patel.
Yeah, I think the cricketing gods haven't been very kind to them as much as you are to your students, especially with this syllabus. They're setting a question paper which is a little difficult to achieve. But Seattle Thunderbolts are giving it their all. Oh, that is from the meat of the bat, and that will fly away. Halfway through the shot, Saideep Ganesh knew there's no point running, just admire. Everyone just admire.
Ganesh says, I'm tired of this. Singles and dots, that's not my style.
Timil Patel's missed his mark, and Timil Patel has got the result as well to be seen. He's got to flight the ball up, yes, but at the same time, he's got to look at the batter to the very last moment. This time, we'll stay back. Sweeper is in place, will ensure it's a single. Again, not a clean collect. I wonder what's happening to Hollywood Master Blasters. The catches are not sticking. Straightforward chances are being put down. The singles are not kept down to singles. There have been misfields. Timil Patel. David White would do this exactly. Tap and run. It's a direct hit. Looks flashy. Excellent job indeed. David White is a tall lad. He's made it in time. End of the 6th over. End of the 5th rather. 41 for Donos.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
The final over of the power play coming up. East Bay Blazers have all their wickets intact and 41 on the board already. Hollywood Master Blasters set a challenge of 108 in front of them, 109 to achieve victory. They are trying to get there in a canter.
No surprises, the solid opening partnership here, 41 runs. This is a club that has 4 times this season had an opening stand of at least 50. They've gone over the 100 mark twice, including the last game you and I did together.
Sadeep Ganesh quickly asking for the score, because he's got his own calculations going. They're not even looking at the required rate of this game. The required rate of this game is a different one in their mind.
Indeed, 4.53 to get it done by the end of the 20th. But like we said, about 20 balls remaining, holds the net run rate right where it is, keeps that target for Seattle, which admittedly right now they are hacking off a good chunk of 53 runs through 4.5 overs there, 1 wicket down.
Imagine battling 2 teams while trying to play a game. Cheeky, that's cheeky indeed. And a very good shout too. That looked very close. Again, Sadeep Ganesh has got to understand, in a track of this kind, it is difficult to play that shot. It's been a little up and down, and he's trying it against one of the best. That's his style, of course, and he's covered. And he's got it from the middle of the bat 90% of the time in the entire tournament. But on a track, you've got to respect the bowler, is what you feel. Someone who has that shot of dancing down the track and making the world admire when he hits it from the middle of the bat.
Yeah, Regmi definitely with a few tricks up his sleeve. Use them to great effect.
A good job by David White. He is batting to a terrific plan. Let Sadeep Ganesh take the additional risk. I will take the additional single.
Just 11 off 12, make it 12 off 13 so far for David White. And again, this has been the way they've operated. Both of these guys overall strike in the 130 to 140 region, but White usually a little slower at the start, increases to about that cruising rate in the middle, and then if he does survive till the death, has been shot out of a cannon. Ganesh likes the quick start.
I absolutely love this style as well that you're talking about. They complement each other really, really well. Just watching the batter to the last moment, Basant Regmi sends a silent message. Sometimes the message is not measured in terms of decibel levels, but just a stare would do. He wanted to see if Sadeep Ganesh is trying to make sure that the V region is behind him. No one move! Give all your work a lick and a promise and watch the genius bat. Marginally shot, and the ball was never to be seen again. He's pouncing on those balls by staying put as well. He's got everything in his kitty. He can dance down the track and stand and deliver too. You are watching the blooming and blossoming of one of the best cricketers in 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, Sadeep Ganesh.
And brings up the 50 for the club in style. He's got a whopping 34 of those. Looking for more, going over the top of the man at long on. That looked like it might have hit the cushion on the fly, awaiting the word. And again, just like last week, umpire says 4.
Sadeep Ganesh, again, just made sure that it's shot. He's sitting deep inside the crease, and this is exactly where Khan's got to step in and tell Basant Regmi, where is the batter standing?
Final ball with the fielding restrictions in place. Ganesh again yanks this one in between the 2 fielders in the deep. Both of the deep men on the onside, in front, doesn't matter. Sadeep Ganesh, a 3rd boundary on the trot.
This over can be divided into 2. The first half belonged to the bowler. The second half belonged to Sadeep Ganesh. A hat-trick of boundaries to finish it off. The power play restrictions will now be lifted. East Bay Blazers coasting at 58 for no loss.
Will stay in as the fielding restrictions release. It'll be his 3rd over of work so far. Reasonably tidy from Timil. He's had 5 dot balls, 5 singles. That can't be right. There's 5 dot balls, 6 singles, and the 1 deep ball the 6 from Ganesh that came over the top of our producer, Bud Jadabans. Sounds like he enjoyed it.
It sounds like he's as good as an appeal.
And that 58 for no loss, rather typical power play for East Bay, which tells you, well, one of the many reasons why they've won 9 out of their last 10 and haven't even really lost the one in the middle there by very much.
They found the foundation right, and once you get the foundation right, only then can you build something wonderful, isn't it? This one didn't bounce as much, and David White, who's a tall lad, was still able to get it from the better part of the bat and not the toe. David White's anyway looking for a single.
As we continue to look around the league and see particularly about the results that are of interest to us here in the Western Division, Michigan Cricket Stars with 3 balls to spare have chased down a target of 198 against the first place Dallas Mustangs. That battle between them and the Chicago Tigers is going to go down to the final day. So that's easy watching for you if you're a fan. If the Michigan Cricket Stars win tomorrow, they're coming to Morgan Hill next weekend. If they don't, it'll be the Chicago Tigers. And so the Tigers will continue to wait for an extra 24 hours to find out their fate.
Imagine opening 2 tabs where you know your origin, but you don't know your destination. Timil Patel's learning very quickly, and he also understands that these 2 batters have got different reaches. Oh, wow, that one will not be stopped. No way you're retrieving that one too. Straight as an arrow. It's one of those rare shots which will make our camera person, who's rightly pointed out by Joe in Stratosphere, bow down and bend, duck, try and save himself and the equipment.
Yeah, I think Bud turned and looked up at Andrew and had the call, catch!
I thought the call was, are you still there?
Is the equipment still there? Both those things are expensive. Going to need a moment here to either retrieve that or find ourselves a new one. I think it may still be on the roof of the school behind us at our commentary position, so they'll take this as an impromptu drinks break.
And Andrew, our camera person, who was up there for the first innings, of course, told us when he eventually came down that actually there are about 30 balls. But I'm just wondering, even if the ball is there and it's retrievable, you're going to find a sea of balls and not find out which one it is that David White has given a tonk.
Yeah, you don't want to mess up and get the one that's got, 13 or 14 overs in it instead of 6.
I tell you what, rather than retrieving a ball, go there with a box at the end of the game.
So one of those nets that you use to fish out leaves from a swimming pool, something like that. Well, continuing our look around, Seattle Thunderbolts end of the power play are already halfway to the total, and then some, 68 for 1 there. And if they chase that down in something like 10 overs, it could get very interesting.
Technically, it was 14 overs before the game began, but looking at the way the Blazers are going, you got to bring out the calculator again. It's time of the league where you pack a calculator in the kit bag as much as a pair of gloves.
Oh, absolutely. So, yeah, some damage being done there. We'll continue to monitor that situation.
Well done. We've got Joe opening up a few more tabs and a lot of Excel sheets.
Yeah, actually, if they want to equal where East Bay started the day today, if they get it done in 10 overs, that takes care of that. They would be right at 1.407. East Bay started the day at 1.403. And so they have a chance potentially to turn this into a dead heat. Of course, East Bay with something to say about it. They're looking to kick it a little further down the road, but Seattle laying the blueprint for what they might have to do again tomorrow to potentially pip this. This race also looks like it's coming right down to the wire, Suhas.
Oh, we just love this race, and this race doesn't have a name to it because there's so many moving parts to it. Just realized cricket has come down to such scrutiny. Every single over would be scrutinized, saying, well, did you go for runs in this over? Can you string 3-dot deliveries in this over? Well, if you can, that means you're not only helping out this team, your own team, but another team. Oh, wow! Just when Timil Patel got the taste of what leather looks like, he's got to be fetching this one too.
Luckily, that one not on the roof, so that's going to be retrievable, but an authoritative end to the over. 2 runs from the first 4 balls, then 12 from the last 2, 14 in total off of it. 72 for no loss. AJ Amadi into the attack from the Homestead end of the ground.
Saidev Ganesh, who's been having the best seat in the house to see the ball fly away into the woods, now would be finding himself at the striker's end, Joe.
Well, to be fair, it's been flying away from his bat quite nicely as well. 5 boundaries, 3 maximums so far in today's encounter. He is just a few runs away from a half century. Looking to finish that off perhaps in this over. And the Blazers rather just 37 runs shy of closing this out as they and Seattle continue what we dubbed a net run rate drag race.
And that drag race will get some more momentum, some more Sonoko. That hits the trunk of the tree. Saidev Ganesh. He wants to have an early bath today.
And the 50 up. Well, there we go. Now we got our own little harmony going here. This partnership impressive. So's the one here behind the table. Saidev Ganesh has a high this season of 56. He's not too far away from meeting that as well. Back-to-back 50s for him. That one takes a big funky hop. It'll just be the single, though.
He's played his part here, Saidev Ganesh. Now, if he can finish it off without changing gears, then he would have done a world of good to his side and the net run rate. He's not only batting Hollywood Master Blasters out of this game, remember, he's also batting Seattle Thunderbolts out of their chances of advancement in the tournament.
Here comes Imadi to David White, cut off the outer edge of the bat. That's going to be a long run for the man at sweeper cover. Able to get to it. Not a clean pickup. They'll take 2.
You could clearly see the shift in gears where both the batters have started to attack, and it's not helping that the balls are right up the alley for David White, who's anyways a tall man with long levers, so everything and anything is within reach for him. And I'm very surprised by Imadi's approach as well here. He's not trying to shoot the ball in, he's trying to float it up.
Another one cut through the offside. They think about the 2. White says nope. I'll take the single. I mean, Suhan's one of the more impressive things about this pairing, and if you add Mark Dayal to it as well, the top 3 for this Blazers order all season. They've pretty much been the top 3 every match. They have a total of 5 single-figure scores between them. Dayal 2, White 2, Ganesh just 1. The consistency, the way they've built this platform game in, game out, just so impressive to me.
We'll keep the chat alive, and the consistency will remain the buzzword. 80 was gone, 82 for no loss. .82 without a wicket. This run chase is getting done in a canter.
Already Saidev Ganesh over the half-century mark for the 3rd time this season. The partnership closing in potentially on a 3rd century this season and a 2nd in as many weekends. Just 18 runs away from that, make it 17 as White has a single off the first. Mrinal Patel into the attack.
Mrinal Patel. They're sticking to the spinners here. Hollywood Master Blasters.
Just Mrinal Patel's 7th over bowled of the season. He's given up 70 in the 6 that he's completed so far. Just a single wicket, that coming in the power play.
Definitely bowling is not his strongest suit. Mrinal Patel, if they've thrown it to Mrinal Patel there, Hollywood Master Blasters, what are the signals that they're sending to the opposition? That they've already bowed down a little now. The point is they've got to look for wickets come what may, even if the cushion's 26 like it is right now.
Yeah, I think kind of just looking for something different. That one does hit pad, but well outside the line of leg stump. Signal from the umpire will be leg byes for David White.
Mrinal Patel, the first delivery that troubled the batter. Maybe that could be idea behind throwing it to Ronald.
No, I think you're
with
right.
The inaccuracy in the pitch.
Right, exactly. And simply the opportunity to try a little something new as Ganesh dances forward. And the finger is up, and that will be all for him. So the partnership is not going to make it to three figures. 84. It closes out as he is stumped by Dhyan Ranatunga.
Well done, Dhyan. Excellent work, Ronald. This one didn't bounce as much, but Dhyan Ranatunga, who's gotten the taste of this surface, was ready for it. Good collect, and the bails went off in a jiffy. No chance for someone like Saidip Ganesh, who's one of the quickest to even turn and decide if he wants to drag the bat or no. The bails were already dropped.
Indeed, and just 2 so far off the over against Patel, 3 total here at 85 for 1. And he seems to be coming in and getting the job done. You just maybe sometimes need a different look. I mean, think back to last weekend, Dale Phillips calling his own number, taking that pause to get the pads on, interrupted the momentum, came in and got 2 wickets and was on a hat trick before we knew it.
It's a great point that you make as well, interrupting the momentum here. Probably they were thrown off East Bay Blazers, who were anyways attacking every single bowler to go for the big shots. Come the one who usually carries the tag of being a part-time bowler. He's picked up a wicket. Brilliant stuff from Ronald. He's read the conditions better. Up against Nawaz Khan, who speaks the language of 6 or nothing.
Has used that to great effect. I'm not going to talk too much about it because Bud's my friend over there. And so I don't want to torture him again, but now more than happy to enjoy Nawaz Khan, of course, that massive moment a few weeks ago that really did turn the entire trajectory of the season here in the Western Division.
Yeah, the man who's bowling to him has also been involved in a last over bonanza. That was when he was playing for the San Diego Surf Riders. Against Mo Hutchinson. No, this is a good delivery once again. He's read the conditions, as you can sense. The ball's not bouncing as much. He's just looking at those golden spots and landing the ball there. Another important dot ball. 9 overs gone, 85 for 1.
1, 2, 3.
It'll be AJ Ahmadi continuing on from the Homestead Street end. David White remains on strike. Khan unable to get himself underway on those first 2 deliveries, but Blazers not far away now. 85 for 1, 24 runs needed. They're looking to get them as quickly as possible, particularly because Seattle is now 26 runs away from the target, just 2 balls into the 9th over. So the Thunderbolts doing what they needed to as David White turns and deposits this just in front of the man at mid-wicket. I think Abdullah had Malik out there, if I saw the number correctly, perhaps Venakalian Marireddy. He's a long way away. I know there was a 4 in there. At any rate, a single to start. Nawaz Khan back on strike. That one straight back over the head of the bowler. Protection in the deep will converge and claim the ball.
The wicket of Saidip Ganesh is a classical play of ego in our game of cricket. For a batter who's going hammer and tongs, realizes that he's been offered a part-time bowler, goes after it mindlessly and misses it completely and gets stumped out. In the end, in hindsight, it was great ploy indeed from Hollywood Master Blasters, but they got to continue to chip away from the wickets. Despite Mark Dayal sitting out, remember, it's East Bay Blazers who've got a never-ending batting lineup. David White dances down the track, and straight as an arrow it goes. And when he hits it, it stays hit. No half measures whatsoever.
Goodness gracious, the sound on that one from David White shot right by the stumps. He was even a particularly fine player at long off. And we know David White likes to go down there. I have vivid memories of him buzzing our tower in the game up at Arroyo Park. But my word, fast enough to get by even him.
He's so easy on the eye as well, David White. He's not the cheeky kind, but he's someone who plays the textbook shots, but clears them by a very, very long distance.
Dramatic hands to the head for AJ Ahmadi. Saw that one come off an edge as we were singing David White's praises. Very nearly gives away his wicket there, but a single. Nawaz Khan back on strike for the final ball of the 10th. Khan looking for the big shot, but he'll just slap that to the backward 45. Another single. 8 runs off the 10th over. 93 for 1.
My son, he's so soft-spoken. Oh, yeah! Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom. Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
Of a fantastic last over, stays in at the commentary end. This one worked to the onside by Khan. That'll be another single for him. Blazers continue to close in.
Mrunal Patel he knows that the batters are coming after him, and he's just choosing the spots where the ball's not bouncing as much from. Just get a feeling he might have to, in case David White decides to do this. This is the reason why. Inside out, over the top, 6 it is. It's got 6 written all over it.
I think also a fair ball. I believe that landed on the chalk down the left field line of the softball field out here past our boundary.
This is exactly why we were discussing, Joe, that he's got to throw one down the leg side perhaps. Would have got one up on David White. It's difficult when he's trying to go inside out. You knew that he was going to come after you. You knew that he was going to dance down the track like that. David White is marching to his own drum beats.
That majestic 6 brings up the 100 for East Bay Blazers this time around. Looking for the quick single, and Ranatunga not able to swipe the bails off quite in time. Single taken, 8 runs left to get the job done.
Nawaz Khan, the game is in his territory, and he knows that. It will be taken on the bounce. Timil, in fact, 2 bounces. Nawaz Khan picks up a single, inching towards another victory here, East Bay Blazers. But from the word go, East Bay Blazers knew that it is not just about victory, it's about getting it done as quickly as possible. And the openers did not disappoint at all.
An 85-run opening partnership between Ganesh and White. A third 50 of the season for the young man. Another single here. 1 ball left in the over. Thought I saw people packing up to move to the other side. I was like, no, we're not there yet. Now the final ball of the over to Nawaz Khan. Gets a little bit of that. He'll turn down the single. And so 10 from that over, 103 for 1, the win, potentially a single stroke away, 6 runs for the target.
1, 2, 3.
'22 Toyota Minor League Cricket is brought to you by Sunoco. A reminder to fuel your best. And the fuel tanks full as can be right now for the East Bay Blazers. They are absolutely dashing the competition right now and are well on their way to victory. Could do it in 1 more stroke here.
1 hit away from what would be a morale-boosting victory. That is going unchallenged to the boundary rope.
There's another candidate for Dafanu's shot of the week. Certainly for the match, but pretty stylish there. We've seen some good stuff out of the East Bay Blazers here in this second innings. Just 2 runs left to get to the total.
Absolutely. Big thank you to our sponsors, Toyota, the 2nd year running, and Sunoco and Dafanu's. Wouldn't have been possible to have this fantastic 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship without their support. And Dafanu's is where you need to head up if you're a sports connoisseur, not just cricket, but sports from around the world. The place to go to will be signaled a wide. The umpire's arms eventually spreading.
And scores are level. Just a single run required to get this done. David White looking to do it. If he can get it with a boundary, he might finish a 50. He won't. He'll just go with the single, and that gets the job done. And so with 4 balls left even in the 12th over, the East Bay Blazers able to close out a resounding victory. And with that, their net run rate climbs to 1.60, leaving Seattle with still more work to do, even though they appear ready to chase down the Golden State Grizzlies total in 10 or 11 overs.
East Bay Blazers quickly recognizing that this battle is not just for the first column of the points table, but the last one as well, the net run rate, ensuring that they stepped on the gas at the right time and the openers delivered as they get this done eventually in just 11.2. A lot of overs left means a good jump to that net run rate. They sit pretty and have the best chance of qualifying at the moment. A lot more work to do for Seattle Thunderbolts.
And certainly leading from the front, Angie Pereira, the 4 wickets to his name in the first innings, takes care of business to dismiss Hollywood cheaply, gives the East Bay Blazers that chance to really accelerate through the chase. And it does look like they are going to need it. Seattle now 17 runs shy of the target with 10 overs remaining. So we encourage you to keep tuned. Do me a favor, go ahead and give me a follow at Hickey Cricket on Twitter, or at Cricket Sims. That's Tom Nielsen. At least one of us is going to have a variety of spreadsheets throwing sparks over the course of this weekend, and particularly tomorrow morning. We will let you know what Seattle have to do tomorrow in order to try to pip these East Bay Blazers, but they've done everything they can. They're the rabbit that's been shot out front for the Thunderbolts to chase, and we're just looking forward to finding out how it all ends. We look forward to you as well joining us tomorrow. We will be here same bat time, same bat channel, 2 p.m. from Santa Clara for Silicon Valley Strikers and the Hollywood Master Blasters. And if you're in the area, come on out. We're going to have a festival of cricket out here, complete with a little Cricket 101. So if we keep saying things that have yet to make sense to you, and you haven't endeavored to hit us up on Twitter to find out what we're saying, please, by all means, come on out and learn and enjoy the atmosphere and have yourself a great time as we close out this amazing Toyota Minor League Cricket Championships regular season. Until then, for Bud Jadabans at the controls, Andrew Grindle up in the camera, and my partner Suhas Vedam, this is Joe Hickey, hoping to see you again very, very soon. So long. This season, and continue to enjoy this being the case. Suhas Vedam with me as Ganesh goes a little bit harder through the same gap and gets his reward this time. First boundary of the second inning. Give you a sense of what these two teams are looking to do to maintain the current advantage and to extend it. That is a gorgeous shot just through backward point.
Off this campaign as a captain of the side too. That is driven wonderfully. This was more about not a full-fledged drive, but a gentle punch.
Yes, of course, the danger is the potential loss of early wickets, and you might lose that game altogether.
Fantastic shot. That's a great area to be targeting. That'll be for... He'll be introduced within the first power play itself. That's a different ball game altogether. Straight down the ground with mid-off up in the circle. Save your legs. That's going to travel.
Hollywood just absolutely clamped. 40 runs in the power play and then only 40 for the next 9 overs. That's in the air. Looks like he might have gotten his hand under it, but spills it. Mrunal Patel unable to hold it.
Giving it their all. Well, that is from the meat of the bat, and that will fly away. Halfway through the shot, Saideep Ganesh knew there's no point running, just sure that the V region is behind him. No one move. Give all your work a lick and a promise and watch the genius bat. Marginally shot, and the ball was never to be seen again.
In style, he's got a whopping 34 of those. Looking for more, going over the top of the man at long on. That looked like it might have hit the cushion on the fly. Final ball with the fielding restrictions in place. Ganesh again yanks this one in between the two fielders in the deep.
They've got different reaches. Oh, wow, that one will not be stopped. No way you're retrieving that one too. Straight as an arrow. Only helping out this team, your own team, but another team. Oh, wow. Just when Timil Patel got the taste of what leather looks like.
Continue what we dubbed a net run rate drag race.
And that drag race will get some more momentum, some more Sonoko. That hits the trunk of the tree.
Right, exactly. And simply the opportunity to try a little something new as Ganesh dances forward. And the finger is up, and that will be all for him, so the partnership is not going to make
East Bay Blazers have got a never-ending batting lineup. David White dances down the track, and straight as an arrow it goes. It have to be in case David White decides to do this. This is the reason why. Inside out, over the top, 6 it is. It's got 6 written all over it.
Here.
One hit away from what would be a morale-boosting victory. That is going unchallenged to the boundary rope.
There's another.
You're watching the Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, presented by Sunoco.